sarcastic podcast for your asses. Yapping in a trap like a rescue cat, and the rescued up like they're waiting on the Batman. You tuned into the dude who threw booze back, blacked out, woke up drunk, covered in bruises. It's Sagdaddy Da Pod, an odd fellow, the great white chubby. I'm becoming a marshmallow. It's Sagdaddy Da Pod, so sit back and relax, cause like a broken arm, I got a cast now. It's Sagdaddy Da Pod, you made a good choice, so enjoy, don't be annoyed. Now here's my dumb voice.
First thing we get with the money from this podcast is you a chair. Because I have a computer chair right here, as you can see. But I broke it yesterday or 2 days ago. I broke it. Maybe actually before that.
How?
Because the arm. So when I'm in that chair, I'll usually be playing video games because I cannot play video games from this couch because my eyes are like, not that my eyes suck, but they're just, you can't, there's just such a difference between like the details and stuff. So I would, whatever, this is such a long explanation for something so stupid, but I was sitting there with the chair and I went like this to fix myself, but I used the arms and it just went kang, and so the other arm on the other side is broken.
Did that scare you?
Yeah, of course. This chair is the king of scaring me because you can go back, but the thing is broken. I've had this chair for a long time. What's that, my passport? You want to look at the photo? Look how good looking I look in that photo.
Oh. Wow.
I literally look like someone who like kidnaps women.
When
in that.
did you take this?
That's probably me at like 21 or something, maybe younger. Have you've been getting all this though?
Yeah. Can you clap?
That's like one of those things where I'm sure you're in groups about people who do production and everything that there's a meme that's like story of our lives. Can you clap? You know, something like that. Is there something like that?
I've seen I don't know if it was Ari or somebody post like a what's the word, montage of claps of them doing it like
that's
throughout
a great idea.
Like the entire time, but I don't know if that was just purely something that he did or if that was
that's hilarious.
A production.
Can you clap? Clap, clap, clap. Welcome everybody to, or whoever, everybody, or whoever so chooses. You know, you think you're gonna like have all these views, but it could just be like one person. What's up, dude? To Sagdaddy Da Pod. You know, it is what it is. You're looking at it. I can't think of anything. So let's just throw this at the wall and try to figure it out from here. I'm sitting here I can't be this guy. I can't be the narrator-y guy, you know, like and we're sitting here with the lovely Nicole Lyons as the producer. Yeah. So what we're doing today, look, we can address, I don't want to address the Maddie and the Fatty stuff as like a big thing, but let's just say for all of you that are aware that was happening, it's not happening. So for everyone else that has no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, don't you worry about it. Okay. But for the people that do, I'm sorry. Now, Nicole, are you going to be texting me throughout this? Like I'd rather you speak into the microphone if you want me to move or whatever, you know, like here's the scenario. You would text us.
You're already calling me out. I'm just pulling up your topic list.
Okay.
I'm not saying anything.
So what we're doing today is this is our little origin story. I mean, we're gonna have people on. I mean, this is crazy. You know, I can do a solo pod. If you don't think I can do it, I can do it. I did it for 4 years with the stupid little podcast. If there's any OG listeners to that. See, this whole podcast, you're going to have to really know the ins and outs of the Sagalow universe. You need to know this is the MCU of Brendan Sagalow. There is no, and before we started recording, I was like, let's just move forward with this as if nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows the things I've done before this. And I'm already like talking about a podcast from 1,000 years ago, but I could do a solo pod. Okay. It just at a certain point when I was doing it alone, it was brutal. It was like I was yawning and stuff. Like I'd just miss weeks didn't care. But I'd find myself being like, so what's up, everybody? Like yawning immediately.
How did you prep for those? Like, were you just recording audio?
It's the sad. Yeah, it was all audio. There was no video. I mean, I doubt you can even still listen to them, but maybe we can find them or something and just do a watch along of a podcast where I literally probably ruined my career numerous times. And yeah, it was all audio, and it was the saddest experience in the world. Like, this is nice. We have lights. You're here. There's cameras. It just is. It just is good. It feels good. Whereas the stupid little podcast, I was like in a bad place. And I would just like, it was so sad. It was like I would just put on my recorder and I go, "What's up, everybody?" And it was just brutal.
So did you just wing it every time, or did you have like?
Well, I had like topics because it's like therapy in a way. In the sense where if you don't go in with anything to talk about, you're kind of just like fucked. You're like, what are we doing? Alan called me out on that after like 15, 20 sessions. I mean, not even. I think we were pretty deep into it. Like, I think I was seeing him for like a year, and he was eventually like, "Hey, man, so what are you doing here?" And I literally was like, "I thought I needed this." And he was like, "Yeah, I mean, you do, but we're not talking about anything. You're not bringing up anything. You're not, I would go in there and just wing it. You know what I mean? I'd be like, "So what I did this week? No, nothing. Oh, good. Everything's pretty good, just hanging out," like, and waiting for him to be like, do the work, like waiting for him to be like, "Well, how do you feel?" And all this and stuff. And he just was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Come in with stuff." Cause I was, you're wasting my time. And that's where we're at now. That's just the vibe a good vibe to go in with a therapist. A good vibe of I don't want to make this guy angry. Today, yeah, I mean today he does get mad at me when if like I'm not changing at all. If I'm not like, if I have the same issues, he'll get mad at me, but that's not what we're talking about. What was your question?
Well, how do you know when he's mad at you?
You can tell. He's just not mad at you, but he's just like, but that's what you do. Like his vibe changes and I'm going to say, part of me goes, it's all a technique. He really doesn't give a fuck, blah, blah, blah. But I think maybe he cares so much about people that he gets angry if you're making the same mistakes. You know what I mean? So if I'm like, yeah, I didn't tell this person how I felt again. He's going to be like, "Yeah, because you always do that." And I'm like, all right. I was nervous going in to see him today because I haven't made the changes that I said I was going to last time. It's hard when someone, it's nervousness. I'm having a stroke. It's you get nervous when there is somebody kind of holding you accountable. And you're not doing it, So what was the question about the stupid little podcast though? How did we get on that? Hilarious. First episode. And we're already like, what were we talking about?
30 seconds in.
I know, 30 seconds in. But so, okay, but this isn't going to be, this is going to be this is going to be solo and hangout basically, right? You know what I'm talking about?
I didn't realize you were asking me.
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. There is no me speaking to the audience here. Okay? They're just kind of, you guys are Nicole. This is the eyes of Nicole. Yeah. So what we decided to do, because this is an origin, which by the way, like origin movies, I'm so fucking sick of them. I really don't like seeing how, like, what happened to when, look, I'm already, well, back in my day. I'm not even going to finish that sentence because it sucks. I was just going to talk about, like, what I like about in Batman, like, or like all the Batmans that first came out, he was Batman. There was no origin story. And then I'm going to blame Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man made it so that every fucking superhero needs an origin story. Because you like to see how it, everybody likes to see how the person became the person. The episode 1, basically.
Why do you blame him for that? Tobey Maguire personally.
I specifically blame Tobey Maguire. Or whoever wrote Spider-Man, Sam Raimi. That's who I blame for an all. Can you think of an origin movie? It's going to be so easily Googleable that every single person is going to be like, this one.
Don't they all have an origin story at some point?
At some point, but the first movie is like the first Batman movies. They were just Batman movies. They weren't like his origin. And then the Christopher Nolan movies came out, and he was like how he became Batman. And now every single person's got to have an origin story, including Brendan Sagalow. So that's what we're doing here. We're gonna don't send this to Sam Raimi. Like, I give a fuck. I'll say it to his face. So we're gonna do some childhood questions and really just kind of like figure out where it all went wrong, how it got to here, you know? Oh, today in therapy, Alan was like, we were talking about like my confidence. And he's talking about another client, but he never says any names or anything, but he's like, it's funny. He's like, I got a client that would be like, so say this is just hypothetical. Okay. Say I wasn't getting booked as many times at a club that I want to work at as much. You know what I mean? He went like, oh yeah, it's funny. He's like, I got a client that would say like, oh, you might not be booking me, but I'm going to show you why you're going to want to, or something like that. Like, like being like, well, I'm going to, like, a playful guy, like someone who can take rejection and be like, which I can with the ladies, you know what I mean? You just go, whatever. I was really good at that with women, where I remember it specifically. It was a weekend I went to New Paltz and to hang out with a bunch of friends who went to New Paltz or Binghamton, one or the other. Two different, but they're the same. And I went to a bar and I was so drunk that I was just hitting on every woman. It was really weird. It was very weird. I was walking up, hey, how are you? And they were all rejecting me because I was fucking hammered. And also they could see that I went from one to the other, which, by the way, and I think about this girl a lot, actually, there was one girl at this bar that I really hit it off with. Like, we hit it off immediately. And I was doing stand-up at the time. I think I just started stand-up. So she asked, what do I do, kind of thing. And I go, we're fucking kids. And we're not fucking kids. Ooh, burger break. Damn, I was so into that story. There was a girl that I met because I was going around and I was talking to everybody. And I actually was getting, like, my friends were like, I had a friend that was like, you're so brave. Because I was just going around talking to everybody.
And what were you saying? Like, what's your intro to each woman?
I was literally just doing it for the numbers and being like, so there was no thought really. I would just go, hey, what's up? You want to dance? Or something like that. People were dancing and they were like, huh? And I'd be like, okay, never mind. They were like all rejecting me. They were all rejecting me. No. I was also fucking hammered. Like, we pre-gamed really hard.
With what?
What were we pre-gaming with? Probably like Four Locos or something, whatever was at that time. Or like 40s. We were a big like 40 group. I always had the Colt 45s. Just because of that Afro Man song. But so I'm like going around, I'm like talking to every girl and just they getting rejected one by one. And it felt fine. Like, there was no like, oh, but there was this one girl. She's like, so what do you do? And I'm like, a year into stand-up. So I was like, I do stand-up comedy. Whatever. It is what it is. Probably, yeah, it's so hard. I'm poetically trying to like romance the hard life of a stand-up comedian, even though I have no idea what it's like. Like, now it's
real.
It's real. Yeah. Where back then it was like, yeah, out every night, couple shows, don't really get a life, like shit like that, where it's like, I'm out every night. I'm doing shows. It sucks. It's so fun. It's my only joy is being on that stage. God, I'm so gay. We'll get to it though. Like this will have a rhythm. I think I'm doing fine.
You're doing great.
So, but this one girl was like, I'm Jerry Seinfeld's cousin. Now she could be lying. And I think about this to this day. I think about Jerry Seinfeld's younger cousin, like way young. She was my age. But she was like, Jerry Seinfeld's my cousin. And I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And we hit it off to a point where, like, have you ever talked to someone where they said, man, I wish I didn't have a boyfriend like that, or like girlfriend or whatever for you, or whatever you're into. Still, jury's out. Jury's out on whatever Nicole likes.
Not this.
You son of a bitch. I'm always like, as far as a comedian goes, hecklers always slam me. They always get me somehow.
Is that all I am to you?
You're a heckler. Yeah. A heckler I wanted to. This is crowd work. This is me doing crowd work with you. So, yeah. So she was like, man, she was like, wow, I really wish I didn't have a boyfriend tonight, stuff like that. And I was like, I think I'm in love with you. And she's like, I think I love you too. And so if you're out there, hit me up. But I mean, it was like, whatever. It was like two fucking drunk kids. She could have probably been lying to me, whatever. I was also hammered, and this was 17 years ago or whatever it was. So who knows if I'm getting this whole right, but I think about her a lot.
Wait, what did she have to offer besides Jerry Seinfeld that made you love her?
I didn't even like her because of that. I mean, I thought that was like cool, but she was really funny and like into me, which also, that's probably all it was. Which to this day is still a reason why I stick with women for longer than I should. Because I'm like, one time I was dating this girl and she was like, why do you like me? And I was like, because you like me. That really was my reason. I was like, I like you because you really love me. She didn't. But, and let me tell you this deranged thought I had on the subway on the way to therapy. And I know it's deranged, so whatever. But I had this thought of when I was younger, when I was in kindergarten, 5 years old, there was this kid and his name was Zach, I think. And I forgot his last name, but his name was Zach, I'm pretty sure. And I labeled him like my bully or something. Like he definitely didn't do anything to me besides maybe make fun of me once. And I was like, oh, this guy's my bully, And he was enemy number one in my eyes, where I'm like victimhood, being like, oh my God, I'm being bullied by this guy and all this. And I remember, so whatever, that's just a narrative I'm running in my little 5-year-old head with no evidence of it. And then one day I came home and I had a rash on my nose. And I don't know where it came from. I don't know where it came from. I have no idea. And my mom goes, I remember this so specifically. I'm in the kitchen with my mom and she goes, what happened to your nose? Why do you have, what's that mark? And I went, Zach hit me. I go, yeah, that guy Zach has been bullying me and he hit me, all for attention. And which I feel horrible about to this day, because the next day in kindergarten, our principal showed up to the class. The principal. You never saw the principal as a kindergartner. You never saw the principal, and she looked like she was weird. I remember she looked like she had this tan, and she was a white woman who had this dark tan, and she had this big 80s haircut, and all she wore was brown every day. So she kind of like just looked like this, and her hair was dark brown too. So she just looked like this brown being, and she was like this, it's like brown being is like
brown being
a brown
is crazy.
being, yeah. Brendan, she was black. Yeah, I think you had a black principal. No, she was this brown being. I've never seen a black person before. She was this brown thing. and she was really tall. I was 5 years old, but so let's not forget, I am 5 years old. But she was this like behemoth of a woman. She wasn't fat, but she was like huge. Like, I don't know if you watch Futurama.
No.
Oh, damn it. There's an episode of Futurama where they go to this planet of giant women that like want to fuck them to death. And she reminded me of one of those like Amazonian, like a Xena warrior princess kind of person where you're like, she was like, that's so she comes to the door and she goes, she's like, and I made this whole story up to my mom. And I'm like, yeah, we were in recess and Zach punched me in the face and, he's been bullying me and he punched me in the face without thinking at all the repercussions of this. So she comes to the classroom. I remember this like it was yesterday. She calls out me and this kid, Zach. She's like, can I speak to you guys? Which is a weird move. You know what I mean? If I was really getting bullied by this guy, that would be a weird move to bring me out with them. My own. You know what I mean? But also we're two little 5-year-olds. So she's like probably in like a mode of like, cut the shit. Whatever's happening, cut the shit. So she pulls out me and him. He's like, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm like, I wonder if this is about the the punching of the face lie that I said yesterday. To my mom. I wonder if this is about the thing that no parent would ever let go of. And she goes, so what's this I hear that you punched Brendan in the face? And he was like, what? He's like, no, I didn't, And she's like, he says you did, so you did. She's like totally on my side. Like there is definitely some sort of like thing where she was like, I'm so sick of bullies. You know what I mean? She's like, I was bullied, which is about my pale skin. So I started working out. I got a tan. Started wearing brown suits. Definitely 100% was the vibe. Cause I tried. I remember this. So she goes, stop bullying him and stop punching him and stop hurting him. We will not tolerate that. And he starts crying and he's going like, I'm not, he's going, I didn't, I'm not, and then I go, I knew, this is how I know I'm an okay person. Okay. Because besides this whole story, but I felt bad. And I mean, I guess I'm not that good of a person, but slightly I'm good because I had empathy for it. But I go, maybe he's not, maybe I'm thinking of something else. And she literally was like, don't stick up for him. Okay. Like, don't try to, she's like, I know you're scared, but you did the right thing and you came to us and blah, blah, blah. And I think that kid got suspended and I have no, like, I don't know. I think they like took him out for a day or something like that. Maybe not. But she yelled at him and he cried and he was crying and we never spoke of it again. And that's the end of that. But isn't that crazy?
Yeah, you need to find out by next episode where he is now. You need to remember because we have to figure out this was a domino effect in his entire life. Like if this, because he was like getting gaslit.
It 100% is because he had the vibe, even at that age, I remember. Which is probably why I created a narrative that like he picked on me because he had this jockey kind of vibe, which was like he just had it.
As a 5-year-old.
I could just tell. There's some people that you're like, that kid's gonna be an athlete. And I didn't even know what athletes were. I'm recruiting at 5 years old. I'm going, I was like, this kid's good. No, but I can tell, like, he was popular. He was really popular. I remember that. And I was not because I pissed my pants and picked and ate my boogies. That whole class was like the whole class is I have so many stories of embarrassment. Like one time, like on Halloween, I was wearing. There was a couple years in a row where my mom mother.
Mommy.
I'd rather mommy than say mother. My mother says my mom would dress me up as the Wizard of Oz people.
All of them?
Not all of them. Not Dorothy. Which is why I dress up as Dorothy now and go to clubs. Hold for applause. No, but she would dress me up as Scarecrow, Lion, and Tin Man. And when I was dressed up as Tin Man, I pissed my pants, and it was gray, so it just I just pissed my pants. And the teacher, and this was kindergarten, and the teacher was like, Brendan, you need to go to the nurse. And I was like, no. And she was like, you peed your pants. It's so weird to like be like, I did? Isn't that weird? I remember that. So, and then there was another time. So I got 2 more embarrassing stories, and then we'll get to these fucking questions that Nicole has prepared for my childhood of the origin story that is Sagdaddy. There was another time we were all sitting in a circle, and the teacher was reading a book, and I was picking my nose and eating it. And one of the girls in class, Clara Goodman, who is a fucking smoke show today. I still follow her on Instagram. She's fucking hot. I had a crush on her for like a minute. And yeah, so So I don't know where I just went. Yeah, I was like, Clara. Sometimes I'll stare at the moon and hope she's staring at the moon back. And then I can say this is our only time together. No, but somewhere out there.
We need to beneath. This podcast is so in its infancy that the world is our oyster. You should like have these people on.
Should I have Clara Goodman on?
Like random ass people that you grew up with?
I think there's definitely better people because I had so well, Clara was, she wasn't like a main crush. She was like, you know what it was? So I had a friend that I had a family friend who eventually became a friend. Her name was Amanda Friedman. And she was, for like a year in middle school or something, she dated my friend Luke. And, she was always like, let me set you up with someone. And I'm like, okay, nobody likes me. Real pathetic shit. I was like, literally nobody but at that time, no girls fucked with me because I was a chubby little fucking lesbian. You know what I mean? Like at that time, like there's and anybody that did was probably never even told me or anything. And I was always going for the prettier, whatever. But I was like, nah, and she's like, maybe Clara. So she put that in my head. And then immediately I was like, like Clara, where will we go on our honeymoon? Stuff like that. So that wasn't a big part. The Ettingers were my first crush ever, were these twin girls named Dana and Lauren Ettinger. And
both of them?
They were twins.
Well, that's what I'm saying is you were like, so, you were into that, like both of them or them
not
as like
at the same time, but it was like, so I think one of them was in my class in like first grade and then second grade, the other one was, and it was all shallow, now I go for the personality and all that stuff. And you really, but back then that kid was a dog. He only liked, so yeah, he was like, oh, these chicks are cute, whatever. And here's another one. Elise Zaphos I really liked too. And she was a big one. I liked her all year. And so this was in kindergarten, same class or first grade. We're all sitting there or something's going on. And I decided to draw I was like, oh, I know what I'll do. Little romance, Brendan, little lover boy. I'll draw a kitty cat. I'll cut it out. I'll put it on a popsicle stick and I'll make a little puppet and I'll give that to Elise and then she'll slob my knob.
What year was this?
She'll
again?
Suck my cock. What year was this? I mean, 1997.
No, like what grade were you in?
I was in either kindergarten or first grade.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to remember. So it might have been first grade. But so Elise, her best friend at that time, it's crazy. I remember all this, but these were like fundamental things that happened to me that are the reason I'm fucking eating a burger every day in my life. And so she had a friend named Jill Burgreen. Should I be saying all these names? This feels like I shouldn't.
You're not slandering them.
I'm not slandering them.
You're actually admitting to things you did wrong to these people.
Right. I mean, making a kitty cat puppet is not something I would consider wrong, but to each his own, Nicole.
Well, you sent Zach's life down a spiral after that incident.
Right. And him, I don't know his name. What is his fucking name?
It's fine.
Anyway. Yeah, I hope he's okay. So, I mean, he might be honest. He might be a serial killer now. Wouldn't that be crazy?
Gilgo Beach.
If he was the Gilgo Beach killer, Massapequa Park. Which I dated a girl in Massapequa. That was right there. Anyway, so Elise was I had a big crush on her. I still follow her on Instagram. We could get her on, but she doesn't. None of these people know. If I was like, I had a fucking huge crush on you in first grade. Really? And then that's the whole podcast. Wow, that's crazy. Wow. And then I'm like, all right, how much was your Uber?
Well, no, that could I am so into that because we have so many points to go back to, but have you ever told someone, oh, I had a crush on you, and they were like, what? I had a crush on you. That's the best revelation when you find out years later.
That is a good feeling. And I think I've done that before, but I also don't remember. I remember having the feeling of like, oh, I should tell this person just for shits and giggles, but also being like, this would be a weird time. Somehow like a funeral or some shit. Hey, I had a big crush on you. My brother just died. So I go up to Elise. I cut out the kitty cat. I put the Elmer's glue. I put it on the popsicle stick. I fucking really made a nice little cat puppet. And she was sitting across, so they had their desks together. She was sitting across from Jill Bergreen, who was her best friend. They would hang out all the time at recess and stuff. 2 peas in a pod. Elise and Jill. Jill, at the time, I think, who knows? I don't know if she's even still alive today, but what button did you just push?
Just keep talking. Come on, man.
Just push the wrap it up button. Just there's gonna be a lot of that, okay? This is, so Jill at the time kind of looked more like me. She had a lot of freckles, which I didn't find attractive because I have freckles. She looked like she was kind of a chubbier little girl, right? And she was Elise's best friend. And I brought the puppet to Elise, but I just awkwardly brought this puppet. I wonder if she'd still remember this. I would love to ask if Elise remember this. But I brought this little puppet, and we'll tag her in this. We'll make the clip. Tag her in it. And I gave it to her, and I said nothing. Because I'm a little kid. What do you say, And
no meows, no nothing. You didn't do a little act out. Just dropped off the
Not
puppet.
that I can remember. I mean, in another world, I'm sure in the reality of it, I went, meow, 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 meow. Please. I was probably doing shit like that. Oh, please. And so I walk the cat over. I give the cat to Elise. She doesn't even acknowledge it really. She was like, oh, but they're sitting there and they both look up at me and they're like, oh, and they're like, is this for me? And then Jill goes, is this for me? And I go, huh? I was like, huh? I could not fathom that she, and then she goes, oh, wow, this is cool. Thank you so much for giving. Jill's saying this. It's not for Jill. She's going, thank you so much. I guess we can date. I guess you could be my boyfriend like that. And she goes, but I don't think we're allowed to go to the movies together. And she's just talking about our future plans and stuff. And I'm going, and I just walked away. And I was like, okay. And I just walked away. And that kind of is my love life now, in a way.
That's so devastating
Yeah.
for Jill.
Yeah.
To learn that information. That would break me.
Really? You think so?
I know you guys were 6, but I think finding that out, even years later, for someone to be like, oh yeah, I remember when I did that for you. I'm like, yeah, that's so sweet. I'll never forget it.
Right.
No, I meant to give it to so-and-so.
Right. Maybe Jill is the mayor of fucking Toronto now or something. And she's like, yeah, I've always had confidence. I think it started with my first gift from a boy.
The butterfly effect of your childhood relationships.
Right. And so that's just the tip of the iceberg of ways that I have been wronged by women in my life.
Wait, so what happened with Jill? What was your dating life? No, what? What?
We fucked. No, we didn't. Nothing happened. Like nothing happened. Nothing came from it. It was never spoken of again. And I just walked away defeated. I walked away from it like, it was I'm such a stressed little kid, but I'm going like, that's the complete opposite of what I wanted to happen.
I put everything into that cat puppet.
Yeah. And it's also like, not only that, but there is the rejection of that. Like, I'm not just confidently walking up and going, I'm going to give this to Elise and she'll like me. I'm walking up and being like, doing like Wilhelm breaths, being like, like trying to like pump myself up to give this girl that I liked for a long time a thing. And then since then, I never really told someone how I felt about them.
Do you feel like though in that moment you stopped yourself? Like you could have very well been like, no, it was for her. But do you feel like you at the time were like, if I step in here and actually give it to who I like and she says no, then it's going to hurt worse. So I'd rather just like
maybe
be with Jill.
That definitely could have been it. No, but I didn't even want to be with, I wasn't even like, oh, now I'm with Jill. There was just like that went wrong and we're never going to speak of it again.
Right. But it's like, oh, this saved me from potentially
there
getting
could be
rejected
that.
by this other girl.
Could be that. I mean, I guess. I mean, you don't have that self-awareness at 5 years old, you know what I mean, or whatever the fuck. So yeah, so it definitely affected. And then I was on the train going to therapy, and I had this thought that I went, maybe if karma and the universe and Loki and all that shit were all real, I think the biggest prank on me would be because I just ratted on a guy who did nothing wrong. My karma for my entire life is no man will ever do me any, trouble. Because I've never really had that like a bad experience with a guy, but every woman in my life, and I'm looking at you, Nicole, I'm just waiting for it, is going to hurt me in some way. Maddie and the Fatty 2024. No, but I know that was like just delusional thinking, but I was like, that's like shit that if I was writing a novel, I would put in. I'd be like God being like, so what we did was we made, you don't want men to hurt you, huh? How about every woman in your life sprinkle, and they like, sprinkle on some magic on you and then your life is ruined. But obviously that's not, So let's get to some questions that you had for me.
We have to circle back because this all came out of you talking about the story about you picking your nose in class, and you never finished
Clara,
that.
Right? Oh, Clara. Oh, Clara. Yes, the dreaded nose picking. Short story, but we were all sitting in a circle, and the teacher was teaching us some bullshit, and I literally was like, I knew at that point picking your nose was wrong and gross. Because I would do that, and my mom would be like, "Get your fucking hands out of your nose! Stop eating your boogers!" And but so in class, I couldn't help it. So I'd be like, like really trying to hide it. But we're all sitting in a circle, and Clara, on the other side of the circle, raises her hand, and the teacher goes, "Clara," and she goes, "Brendan's picking his nose and eating his boogers," and everyone looked at me, and then the teacher went, "Brendan, stop doing that." And then we moved on.
Damn.
Right.
So she snitched.
Yeah, but I mean,
And this was when you were a little kid. You were into her?
No, I didn't have like my small maybe crush on Clara till like middle school.
True.
Right. But yeah, she's yeah. She did that, and I'll never forget.
That's crazy. It is weird what sticks with you because I still remember the nose picking kid from my class. Like that just like stuck with who he was forever in my mind.
That means everybody's gonna remember that. I mean, the amount of embarrassing shit I used to do throughout school, it's like overwhelming. It's overwhelming the amount of shit. Like I'm sitting in gym class and I just farted on that fucking hardwood floor. And it was like, bah! And everybody could hear it. And one of the Ettingers, Lauren Ettinger, one of the girls I liked, went, "You just farted." And I was like, "No," because at that time you're trying to hide your farts. You know what I mean? Now I let them rip and I don't care who sees. But at the time, it's humiliating. If you fart in front of someone, it's humiliating. And wouldn't you know it, God had a specific plan for me. I feel like God sometimes is like, how far can we push this person? You know what I mean?
He's really testing you with the fart.
The fart and the nose and all those things are my fault anyway. I mean, no one's got control over their ass but me. But it really did feel like it just came out. Like I wasn't like, oh, maybe I'll let it slip. It just came out. You know?
Yeah. And when you're sitting on the gym floor, that's like a deadly combo.
Yeah.
For what that's going to sound like.
Smack!
It's going to reverberate through the whole gym.
Yeah, which it did. I mean, horrible.
So you said there was a third thing that happened during that class when you were saying this year.
It was the Elise thing. So it was Elise. I mean, there's so many. Elise, the booger picking, the peeing my pants, the Zach thing. I mean, I'm trying to remember anything else, but I remember it. And I remember that classroom too. I remember everything so specifically with that shit. And I think from there, it's just my brain's been kind of trying to block shit out.
That's crazy. I can't remember anything before I was like 8.
Really?
I might have like a few select memories like that.
What's your oldest memory, you think?
I really don't. I don't know. Like maybe watching my brother learn how to tie his shoes or something.
Whoa.
It's there, but I really don't know. Like I have such just fog past a certain point where I'm like, do I only remember this because someone told me about it, or do I actually remember this?
Right.
Like from kindergarten, I think I remember our like class fish dying. I actually was just telling someone about this because it's so embarrassing. Did you have class pets?
We had what are the baby frogs? What are those? You don't know baby frogs? They're like, they look like sperm.
Oh,
tadpoles.
Literal
baby
frogs.
Okay,
they're
baby frogs. Yeah, so we had tadpoles, which were disgusting. I thought they were disgusting. I didn't want anything to do with them.
Like you were just watching their life cycle in class or something.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like a class hamster.
No.
You had nothing like that?
No.
We had class pets like that. And at one point we were responsible for like, I don't remember what year it was when we had a hamster, but people would get assigned to bring it home for the weekend, that's like a crazy amount of responsibility to give to a little kid.
Yeah.
And you have no idea like what their family situation is, where they live, and you're like, take the hamster home.
Right. And if I were a parent in that situation and they were like, yeah, I got the hamster, I'd be like, this sucks. Like we have to like move our shit around and like it's gonna smell. This thing smells. And
they escape all the time. They just
do they?
Not. Yeah. You had like bunnies, right? You didn't have a hamster or anything growing up?
No, growing up.
Or you had bunnies as an adult?
My first pet was a puppy, a little Shih Tzu named Bailey, who a year later died from a kidney infection or something. And it was devastating. I remember
another woman hurting you.
God. You son of a bitch. Mother Nature. No, I remember it was so devastating that happened and at the time I was like fucking around with a camera. Like I really liked making things. I was old enough to be able to edit shit. What year was this? This might have been like 8th grade.
Like some Windows Movie Maker shit.
Right. So I was a sentient being. Like I was like not in my teens yet, but like it was coming. And as soon as that happened, I wanted to make I interviewed a bunch of my friends and family about Bailey before he died because he was sick. He was getting sick really quickly and like pissing everywhere, and his piss was clear and stuff. And apparently I thought that was bad or something, you know? Apparently it's good. If you piss clear, it's good, but he was pissing clear and it was bad. And the doctors were like, yeah, this dog's got like 4 months left. So we knew this dog was dying. So I made
Bailey was a boy?
Bailey was a boy, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was picturing a girl. That's why I said that.
I like Bailey as the name for a girl too, but then you think of Bailey J, which is fine, but I will be thinking of Bailey J every time if I name my daughter Bailey, you know, which is fine. And I interviewed a bunch of my friends and family holding Bailey and like being like, talk about the dog. And they're like, oh, I love the dog. You know, Bailey's like, boogers are coming. He's like, put me down. You know, he's got one paw in the grave.
Episode title.
Yeah. One paw in the grave. And he was just like ready to fucking go. And I remember doing that, and I never made the full documentary that I wanted to make because the biggest, I guess budget, if we had a budget, what would go to it was I wanted to remix, sincerely, I wanted to do this, cover the song I'm Here Without You, Baby, but instead say Bailey. So it would be like, I'm here without you, Bailey, but you're still on my lonely nights. And I wanted to do the whole song. I'm here without you, Bailey, and I feel without, or something, what is it? And I dream about you all the time. And we just couldn't get the budget for it. So the documentary was never created, but I will say this. I think I still have that tape. I think I have the tape in my childhood home because my mom still lives there for now. Every year she's always threatened. She's always like, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. You're going to have to come over and gather your shit because we're going to have to sell this fucking house. And I'm like, okay. She's been saying that every year for my whole life, pretty much. Anyway, so what'd you ask about the dog?
I was talking about class pets.
Yes, pets. Yeah, so we didn't have any class pets or anything like that.
Because that's really one of the only things I remember from early on is when our class fish died. We had a few fish and maybe like a turtle, but we had one of those sucky fish.
What? The
ones that are on the tank, like the wall of the tank, and they clean up like the algae or whatever, and they suck this up. And I think we had like a class vote to name it, and I feel like I was the one that elected we name it Vacuum Cleaner.
It's a good name.
And yeah, but he went by VC, so the whole class called him VC. And similarly to how you made your doc actually for your dog, when the fish died, Vacuum Cleaner,
VC.
I drew this whole thing of literally a gravestone, like a headstone for the fish. Rip VC.
And what did you do with it? Did you put it on the toilet where they flushed the fish?
Obviously? I don't remember. I don't know what I did. I feel like it's something that I probably shared with the class in an embarrassing way.
Yeah. So there's a lot of I guess everybody's pretty much, well, not everybody, whatever. I was just about to say something. I do that in therapy a lot. I'll say something and then he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I'm just filling the air.
I mean, you're allowed to say whatever you want. It's kind of this whole thing.
Right. But I want to say things that matter.
Deep. Really deep.
I'm just sick of talking just to talk, I'm always like, yeah, well, if you think about it, that's the way it goes. Everyone's like, you didn't need to say anything at all. Let's get to these questions. What do you say?
All right. Well, how do we even begin to dive into this? I have so many questions that I was thinking about asking you about your childhood.
Start with the first one. That's what they say. Best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Well, second best time is right now.
So maybe we take a hard turn because some of these I want to ask you, you already answered. A lot of embarrassing moments that you had growing up and your relationships or whatever you would call them.
Okay.
But I kind of want to take a hard turn because you strike me as the person who, growing up, you were on chat roulette and shit a lot.
Oh yeah.
Just let's go into any of that.
Oh yeah.
Of did you do it alone? Did you do it with friends?
Of course.
Did you fall in love?
I did it more alone than I did with friends. I never really enjoyed doing it with friends. I mean, we'd go on Omegle or something like that, but never really, it never really it was not fun. It was we'd talk a little bit. But when I got home from school, I would spend hours on chat roulette just making the best of friends. Omegle was the big one. Omegle was before chat roulette, and I think they actually just shut down their servers. And that was the one I was on all the time, Omegle. And probably talking to some fucking 40-year-old guy pretending to be a woman. That's usually how it goes. But there was this one time I remember. So on Omegle and Chat Roulette, really, unless you share, unless you share contact information, they kind of, you can never really see them again. Like they're gone. Once you leave the chat room, they're gone. And actually there was 2 times. There was one time I got this girl's screen name. I feel like a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? Because not an asshole, but like I got this girl's screen name and we were talking for a while and I had just got broken up with by this one girl. I think my first girlfriend ever, Tanya, in this really like whatever way that sucked ass. Like she like her and my buddy Robbie, they like we all know
the
this.
Infamous birthday party
the
story.
Infamous surprise party, yes, where I tried to do a joke about it where it was like, yeah, I got thrown a surprise party and my girlfriend cheated on me with one of my good friends, and boy was I surprised. So needless to say, I was surprised. I think that was the joke. Needless to say, I was surprised. So stupid. And yeah, so that was Tanya. But that happened, and me and Tanya are cool. Like she lets me sleep on her couch when I go to LA. So we're cool now. Okay. We're like this now. But, so I was feeling it, but that was probably like a year. Like I think a year had gone by, or maybe 2 years or whatever. Enough time where like it didn't affect me at all anymore. I mean, it's definitely affected every single thing I've ever done for my whole life, but really in an emotional way. I had moved past it. And, I was talking to this girl on AIM because we kept talking, and she had like was literally in the middle of going through like a thing, and she was like, "I'm sad," and I remember saying to her like, "Yeah, I'm sad too," which is already wrong, But I obviously had to make it about myself as well, and I go, I gotta give that kid a break. Listen to how much I fucking hate myself. I was like, yeah, I'm upset too about my ex, whatever. And she was like, yeah, but that's not as like, this is also on her, but she was like, that's not as important or anything like that. And I was just like, you're out. Goodbye forever. And I got so mad and I stopped talking to her forever. And then she would reach out and be like, are you really still mad and stuff like that? And I'd be like, I wouldn't answer her. Like I 86'd it completely for some reason, just to get the dramatics of her reaching out and wanting to talk to me. It was so weird. I was like, whatever. So there was another girl. This is a funnier story, but there was another girl, or again, 50-year-old man who I was talking to online, and she kept talking about how she was a size queen or something like that. And we were talking, and things got a little and again, this is on Omegle. We have not given each other our screen names, we haven't given each other our phone numbers, but we have been talking for hours. And so if she leaves, she's gone. And but we're talking for hours and hours and hours, and then she's like, it eventually comes up that she wants me to send a picture of my penis. And I go, of course, I'll send you a picture of my penis. But at the time, it was a weird time where iPhones hadn't come out yet. And also, I don't think I had a cell phone with a camera roll. Camera. I think I had like a Razor at that point.
iPod Touch?
No, I don't think Apple was big at that point. I think I just had like an Apple computer, maybe. I don't know, but I didn't have the access to send her a picture of my penis on a phone or something. And what I did have, though, was, have I told you this story?
I don't think so.
What I did have, though, was a Canon Rebel, which is a camera.
Oh, maybe you did.
And it's a really nice camera. I mean, I got it as like I got it as like a gift for Christmas or something. I was like, I want this camera. It's like $1,500 or something like that. I don't know. It was one of those, but it was a really nice camera. You could see warts and all. And I took a picture of my penis with that camera. And, I'm like, getting the focus and everything. And it looked like the picture is so crazy good.
Flash
on. It was like as HD as you could get at that time.
It's like a red carpet photo.
Exactly. Yeah. It was as good of a picture as you could get at that time with the HD and everything. And it looked like my dick it looked like I was giving my dick headshots, I was putting it in different clothing. I asked it to bring 3 outfits. One's a vest, and not only that, but with those, you have to plug it into the computer and you have to take out the memory card. Like I had to take out the memory card, plug what I put into the memory card. So she's going, where's this dick pic? And I'm like, it's taking time. I'm basically in a red room being like, 1 second, trying to like, like I'm dumping it in the fucking thing. I'm like, don't turn the lights on. And I sent it to her. And so it took a while to send to her, but I got it. I uploaded it to my computer, finally sent it to her as like a JPEG. And then she looked at it for like 1 second, and then she went too small, and then it was like it like blah 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 left the chat. So she was just gone forever. She went too small and then left forever. And it wasn't that small. I mean, it's like, it's fine.
It's a good angle.
It was a good angle. I would say, not to get inappropriate, but I'm pretty good with the dick pic angles. I know what I'm doing.
What's your angle?
Well,
in my opinion,
yeah,
there's no good angle. I think they're all bad.
It's like trying to take a picture of the Washington Monument. You only have so many, and I'm not talking about size. I'm just saying you only have so many, like angles and shit that you can choose from to make it look any different than any other picture that's on,
Yeah, but they all turn out like scary. I feel like everyone I've seen is like, ugh. Like you just see it, it's like, it's terrifying.
Some women like
or
that,
gross. Though. I don't know. Maybe.
Some women are into that. They like the scariness of just a fucking hard cock. But like, so I'll do, first one, you go, boom, easy peas. I try to keep my stomach out of it and my little like fupa.
So you're just straight down.
Yeah, and I have to do that thing where I pull it down, so it's like, so my fupa isn't.
Sure.
It's a whole fucking thing. And then another angle is the shot up, but that shows your face, so you have to go like, try not to have a double chin. Good. No, and then that's really it. And then the video of you coming, which that's always. I like doing that, but I also don't like doing that because. I just like, I can't, I'm not using my head when I'm going at it.
Well, so what's the aftermath of that? Are you like rewatching it like you just filmed yourself for like an IG story and you're like, let me make sure I got the good take?
No.
So you fire it off.
You just send it off.
Okay.
And hopefully if they go, ooh, this is disgusting, then they're not for you. No matter how much they didn't ask for it. But that's disgusting. But so yeah, what were we? Did I answer that question?
I think so. About just
Omegle and stuff. Oh yeah, I loved it. I thought it was really awesome talking to people and strangers. It's really fun.
Did you ever catfish someone? Or like even I in those situations, even just a tiny bit, you were never like, I'm 6 feet tall.
Oh yeah,
I did that all the time.
Of course, I would be like, I'm a woman, and I would hit on it.
It feels good sometimes.
Yeah, of course, and just lie and just be like, yeah, what else, and like basically be gay, and then laugh to yourself when you're just being gay alone.
Sure.
I'm just like ha 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 when it's really like, all right, I guess I just did a gay thing. I just made this guy come. Well, you don't think it's gay because you're not describing you.
You didn't speak in like the first person.
Yeah, I wasn't like, hey, it's me, Brendan, making you.
Right, but you weren't like, I'm a girl.
No, but I was.
I'm horny.
I did do that.
Okay, so you know.
I guess it is. But I didn't
comment below. Is it gay?
Yes, comment. We'll have a poll. Am I gay?
Am I gay if I pretend to be a girl and made a guy come on chat roulette?
Yeah, for the laugh.
But were you really laughing?
Make me laugh.
Be for real. That moment, were you doing that to be silly, or did it feel kind of?
I don't remember being gay about it. I don't remember it turning me on. Take the gay
out of it. Oh, okay.
I don't remember it turning me on. I just remember doing it. You know, is that weird?
No.
Be honest.
I don't think so. So you were totally neutral. You had no feelings. You were not doing it for the bit. If I had a time machine, we would do that. We would go back in time for the podcast and ask how you were doing.
Yeah.
In that moment. All right. And you didn't catfish anybody? Ever?
No. There was a time. There was a time. I mean, we'd make prank phone calls all the time, but I never was like, meet me at this place at this time, and then just not showing up. Or if I showed up, I was like, yeah, it's me. I never did any of that. That would be absolutely wild. One time I was in high school, like 9th or 10th grade, and I got a phone call, like a wrong phone call for someone who was looking to sell a vase or some artifact. I tell you this story?
I remember, yeah, but you should tell it.
And they were looking to sell like the vase, whatever. And I remember letting it go because I thought that was like a prank phone call where I'm like, yeah, we're this. Like I'm pretending to be the number he called. And I was like, yeah, we could give you like $12,000 for that. Like really being a complete asshole about it. And he was like an old man who was excited. And he was like, no way, really? And I'm like, yeah, maybe even 50, who knows? You know, being a complete asshole. To myself, I'm doing this in the back of the bus. Like, there's no one there with me, and I'm just doing this. And he was like, wow, so what are the next steps? And like, I was like, I don't know, you know, send it, bring it over, and da-da-da-da, and all this stuff. And then I remember, like, still texting him. And this is when phones had text messages. So I was like T9 wording it. And he was like, oh, great. I just told my wife. And now I'm like, it's starting to snowball. And I think I ate food. And I was like, what are you doing? You know, like, I think I got like a right head about it. And I just went like, I talked to this guy for 3 days where we're texting back and forth about his whatever he wants to sell and all that stuff. And I legitimately started feeling bad. So I Googled a place that he could go to. And I go, look, we actually don't have the fun. I was great about it. I was like, look, we don't actually have the funds for this anymore. I thought we did. I came up with a whole excuse. I went, call these guys. They might be able to help you. And I sent him to another number and he was like, oh, thanks. Blah, blah, blah. So that's the closest I got to like catfishing someone. So I get it. I get it when people catfish people. It feels good.
But you prank called people a lot, you said?
Oh, yeah. That was... oh, the best. I mean, I don't know what the statute of limitations on this is, but I was in middle school and I called a bomb threat in.
I think you told this on Here's the Scenario and said it in the exact same way.
And no one's coming for me. So, you know, good. Allegedly,
Did they shut down the school?
Yeah, we didn't go to school the next day.
So it was kind of a win.
I mean, the fine on that, though, if I'm not getting arrested, imagine the fine on that.
Wait, so nothing happened after? They didn't know it was you?
No.
You never got in trouble?
We star 6-7'd.
That's so funny. That's it.
That's military grade shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we star 6-7, but we would also do pranks that were like just evil. Like me and my buddies would like call like the fat girl in high school and be like, you know, like really evil shit. And I feel bad about it. And what are you going to do? You know, it's all coming of age kind of shit, you know, and look at me now. I'm getting what I deserve. I'm reaping what I sow. Karma is fucking me in the ass before I burn in a river of blood in hell.
Right.
For the violence I've created.
But I think that like everyone did crazy stuff.
Sure.
Growing up. And but part of it is when it happens to you, you'll do, at least like speaking for me, I'll do anything to be included and to be liked by these people. So then you'll like start doing crazy shit or being mean to other people, because then it's like, okay, at least I'm not that guy anymore. Like I got out of that.
Right. Also, it's just so exciting to do shit like that. And also that laugh that you get when you're actually trying to like, when it's, when there's no business involved, if that makes any sense. Like laughing to just laugh is like the best feeling. And when you're with all your friends and does this make sense? And you're just fucking dying laughing. It's like the best. You call the fat girl and you're like, oh, oink, 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 oink. And then everybody they hang up and you just fucking die laughing. You're like, I can't believe we just did that. That's crazy. But I'd like to make an apology to this girl. I forgot her name. Feel bad. But, what are you going to do? You're going to let it define you? The bullying that I can't, that would be my is what I would say. My argument as a bully. I would go, you're going to let this define you? You're an adult now. You're in your 30s, okay? You're gonna let it. You can't let these things define you anymore.
What, you're gonna talk about it for a whole podcast or something? Let it go, man.
Yeah.
Just let it go already.
You can't let these things define you. They go, but you bullied me. And I go, yeah. And what, are you gonna cry about it all the time? Come on, you gotta let it go. Let it go. I'm not just gonna let it go. Let it go. Why? What are you gonna do? Well, I was gonna come and kill you. And then what? And then what? You think that'll make you feel better? Then kill me. I put the note. Kill me. Okay? You'd be doing me a favor. But don't. But don't. Okay? Put the gun down. Put the gun down. Oh, that's good. Slide it. Slide it across the room. That's good. Now who's got the gun, fatty? Oink, 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 oink. All right. What's the next question? About me old childhood.
I
think this is a good origin story.
Yeah.
We're really setting
just
the tone.
getting really vulnerable right off the top.
Yeah. I wonder if people will like that.
Oh, I also had, did you have a childhood enemy? But you already said that.
Oh, yeah, I did.
But did you have something besides poor Zach that you victimized? Was there someone growing up that you like would consider your rival for an extended period of time?
No, I think a lot of people would consider me their rival.
Really? Why?
I don't know. I never had like the bully besides that kid who wasn't even really a bully. But then bullying is so, it's not black and white. You know what I mean? There is different levels, like the first graders would get bullied by the second graders and so forth, and then the second graders would it would just keep going up. There's always a bigger fish. You know what I mean? So for I would have a bully and I would also treat the kid who smelled bad. There was one time where this kid tried to pull a me on me. Where he said, this is what happened, okay? And I'm not going to say this guy's name because there was bullying to an extent. I think towards the end of high school, that kind of left, like all that childhood bully shit where it's like kids just being cruel. I think at a certain point, that matured, I guess. I don't know, whatever. It came out of me. Like I stopped doing that. I actually started feeling bad for this kid. And I tried to be nice to him, but I'm not going to say his name because he had it rough. Because
you were in the wrong here.
I was in the wrong.
Okay.
For the majority. And I also think everybody else was too, because this kid, he was kind of a smaller guy.
I'm like picturing the guy from Benchwarmers that they all picked on.
With the bowl cut.
Or he like has his little peanut butter fort in the basement.
Yeah. So he was kind of, it was a lot sadder than that. It was like as an adult now, if I was a teacher and I had a kid who had all of these, symptoms, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, I would go, trouble at home. This is trouble at home. He was Well, I'll tell you, he was a smaller kid, kind of a dwarf, as some would say. So he was a dwarf or he wasn't a little person, but he was a person who was little. And he wore the same clothes almost every day. He had like 2 pairs of shirts. His shoes were horrible looking. He smelled like shit. So as a kid, you see this and you go, look at this freak. Like, you don't realize the privilege you have, you know? But as an adult, you're like, Jesus Christ, this dude's getting fucked by his dad for sure, or something like that. You know, you're going like, something's going on at home. They're poor or something. So I feel bad for the guy. He's doing well now, though. I still follow him on Facebook. He's got like a wife. He's, you know, doing good.
Future guest on the pod.
I would love to have this dude on the pod. And then you just see me actually getting annoyed with him, being like, oh my God. He's like, hi, everybody. Well, I forgive you for all of the things for the way you treated me. Now off to work I go. He spins around and becomes little dust particles. Oh, he goes, huh? Someone lost another tooth. Gotta go. And just flies away. Okay, on the playground, there was the slide, and you had to climb up to the slide. And there was also a place where, now I don't think this was regulated. Like this wasn't regulation playground, but you can climb. Whoa, Jesus Christ! You can climb towards the slide from this place from the ground, so you can come under. Like honestly, if we went to court for what happened, I would win because I stepped off of a thing to walk towards the slide, and he was coming up on that little, this little kid, this little dwarf kid who smelt bad, was climbing like Gollum through towards the slide through a little crevice, and I stepped on him by accident. And I like stepped on his back.
Pause. Did you really step on him by accident?
Yes, and I will go to the grave with that story. I did step on him on accident. He shouldn't have been there. That's not how the playground was supposed to be used. So I stepped on him, and I actually remember apologizing. And I might have yelled at him as well for being there.
Did you step with full force also?
Yeah, I was literally stepping down from a thing to step on. I'm not pulling my steps, you know what I mean, as I'm walking. I'm like, I stepped on him. Like I don't think I hurt him, but like you could have been hurt pretty, but not, I don't know if it would have been badly or not.
Where'd you catch him? Back?
Right in the middle of his back.
Brutal.
Yeah. And it was like, boom. Oh, shit.
Oh, so if that was an accident, he must have been flying then. Because if he's already had his back, that's like halfway through his body.
He was already halfway. He was almost there. He was almost climbing to the thing. And I do remember apologizing, but I also remember being like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, watch, just being a cunt. Like being like, watch the fuck out. Or something. And then I came home that night and and my mom was like, so I got this phone call from I want to say his name so bad, but I got it from also, I'm not going to
make something up.
No, because whatever I make up is not as good as his actual name. His last name was.
Don't just do the last name.
God damn it. All right. So anyway, I got a call. My mom was like, I got a call from the houses saying that you stomped on Daniel.
Curb stomped him.
She literally said that. She went, I got a call that you stomped on Daniel and that he said you were singing a song, which I don't remember, but also it's not out of the possibility. It's not out of the realm of the world that I could be singing a song like while I'm walking. But in his eyes, I went like, Miss Mary Mac. I'm like stomping on him and singing a song. And I was like, that's not fucking true. That's not true at all. That kid's a liar. blah, 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 which probably didn't help his case. But he's doing good now. So maybe we'll have him on the podcast.
Well, that was your real karma then from the Zach situation. Because you came up with this whole thing that the karma for Zach was now women are never going to talk to you for the rest of your life.
Not talk to me, but
it's that. Because the same thing happened to you.
Talk to me. Women talk to me, okay? No, but they treat me horribly. For the most part. Yeah, I know. Maybe that was. But with that, I got off scot-free. Like, that sounds like someone who did it. But, I just.
Did.
Well, I did it.
But you did.
I'll admit that I did it. But it wasn't it was accidental. What's the word I'm trying to look for? It wasn't premeditated.
Right.
It's
second degree stomping.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Your Honor, my client, he didn't know he was stomping. Anyway, so what happened with that is we just, I just said, I was like, that's not true. It was a mistake. Like, it was legitimately a mistake. The guy was coming out of the fucking thing. And my parents probably just handled the rest. They were like, says it was a mistake, and he's coming out of a place that he's not really supposed to be. My parents are lawyers, so they're like, technically, he was kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time there, but I guess we should just let it go, or I'm going to fucking burn your house to the ground.
Victim blaming. What happened when you saw him at school the next day?
Nothing, because we didn't talk, but I might have probably confronted him.
Stomped on him.
I'll show you a real stomp. But I definitely confronted him. I was a little cunt. I've always been a little cunt, like, to people that are weaker than me, and I want to apologize. That was only school shit. Like, I was a bully. I've been bullied. It's a lot. There's more nuance to it. Like, I've been bullied, but we also bullied the shit out of that kid Garrett at camp, which we'll talk about another time. And Garrett's doing great. All these kids are doing way better than I am. By a long shot. Garrett's got a big beard. I can't grow a fucking beard. Anyway, so I think we should end it here. Unless you have any more questions.
No, maybe ask people to submit topics for next time.
Submit topics. We're going to get some guests. Because I do want to just chill and talk to people too. And we'll get questions for them and their childhood and shit, or like specific questions. Oh, we're going to figure this out. This is episode 1. So we're going to figure it out. And subscribe to my YouTube, because it's going to go up on my YouTube. And follow Nicole C. Lyons on Instagram. Follow me if you're not, which would be insane. Unless you found this on YouTube because of the SEO. Follow me on YouTube. On Instagram and Twitter, and let's get this cooking. We're going to get some good guests. I'm really excited about this. Sagdaddy Da Pod. And should I have a little, what do I say as I leave? Hey, to infinity and beyond. Now, that sucks. Anyway, whatever. Oh, and let us know if this is too long. Because maybe we'll just put this whole thing out. But if it's too long, just say it. Okay? We'll stop. Well, I'll do anything. I'll do anything you want. All right. See you next week.
The Rap Jack Black and Sag Daddy, I'm back at it with a fantastic podcast for your asses. Yapping in a trap like a rescue cat, and the rescued up like they're waiting on the Batman. You tuned into the dude who threw booze back, blacked out, woke up drunk, covered in bruises. It's Sagdaddy Da Pod, an odd fellow, the great white chubby, I'm becoming a marshmallow. It's Sagdaddy Da Pod, so sit back and relax, cause like a broken arm, I got a cast now. It's Sagdaddy Da Pod, you made a good choice, so enjoy, don't be annoyed, now here's my dumb voice. So recognizable, ski massive, unreliable, diary of a guy who's higher than a freaking diving board. I'm tired, call me biting you as like cause you align with your wardrobe. Give that back, you ain't that guy, bro. Kaleidoscope stripping, goddamn I'm tripping, sipping shroom tea, looking at a blank television. Got a girl here gripping, thinking we'll do some business, but that's the last thing that I want. Seriously. Big dog, I'm on shirts now. Still scared that my house is gonna burn down. I'm a rare card, an old Charizard, getting BJ's on a bench of a promenade. Don't know what to do, I got a lot of problems, lot of emotional truths. I some menage, I'm getting robbed every time I get a coffee. Cause $6 is just too much.
Keep it on the low. We can keep it on the low. We can keep it on the low. But all you do is wrong.
Dream team, me and Galene in the 4 Beatles, kidnapping whores illegally, pumping them full with needles, eating Chinese till Steven asks us to order a pizza. Walk to run to get it, I can't do either. It's Sagdaddy Da Pod, don't think twice, just bob your head, dealing your chicken with no rice. It's Sagdaddy Da Pod, and on God I won't stop unless I wanna, that's kinda the deal, huh? It's Sagdaddy Da Pod, no need to deviate, your ears are not the only holes that I'm about to penetrate. It's Sagdaddy Da Pod, so thanks for tuning in. Truman Show flow, if I don't see you, you can suck my dick.